Alright people, we are back once again to talk about the latest Arrowverse series on the CW, Naomi, which just had its series premiere last week, which of course introduced us to the character of Naomi McDuffie and just who this character is in general, because as I mentioned in last week's video, I don't really know much about this character, and really all I know about the character is from the show. So that's what's especially going to make this a really interesting journey. And of course, the story continues this week in episode 2 of Naomi, which is exactly what we're talking about today. So of course, spoiler warning, if you've not yet seen the episode, it's a really good episode. I'm really actually enjoying the story of this series so far. There's some really intriguing things that are being set up, and I'm interested to see how they're explored in the future. But anyways, let's go and jump into this and break down episode 2 of Naomi. So the episode starts off basically following up after last week's episode, where we have this interaction between Naomi and Dee, who of course he just revealed that he's a Thanagarian. He officially confirms that he is from another planet. He's from Thanagar, of course the same planet as Hawkman from the comics, so that's pretty cool. And Naomi isn't from Earth either. She is also an alien. On top of that, Superman is indeed real. He's also an alien, and apparently Dee actually fought alongside him in a war. Well, actually, he doesn't say he fought alongside him, but he says he fought with him in a war. So that could mean maybe they're on the same side, or maybe they're not. You never know. But of course, at first, Naomi doesn't believe this. She doesn't believe any of this. She's been raised to believe that, there has to be some sort of scientific explanation for, everything going on here. That whole Superman thing that happened in the beginning of last week's episode, that was just a stunt. That was, practical effects and a guy with a jetpack and all this stuff. So she doesn't believe any of this stuff. So she doesn't really think it's a big deal to go around telling people. So she tells her best friend Annabelle about it, and she fully believes it. She fully believes that she's an alien. She believes all this stuff, and Naomi still doesn't. So Naomi and her friends go off to investigate the UFO incident of 2004, which coincidentally took place, and this UFO was spotted on the same exact day and place that Naomi was adopted. So, that can't just be a coincidence. It has to be that UFO sighting, or that asteroid that came to Earth, was actually Naomi coming to Earth, because, that's just what makes sense. So we've got Naomi and all of her friends are teaming up, doing some research, doing some investigation, and that's something I'm actually really enjoying about the series. It's kind of like a mystery. It's like a mystery gang, almost like a Scooby-Doo type thing, except not as cool, because Scooby-Doo is hard to be anywhere near as cool as that, but it's still really cool. I like the mystery element of this series. And Anthony introduces us to Mr. O'Brien, who was there that day of the UFO sighting in 2004. And it turns out the crash site isn't anywhere near where Naomi thought it was. So of course they go and do some more investigating. We also get another confrontation with Zumbado, who I'm assuming is probably going to be the main villain of the season. He just seems like a very villainous character here. He still has the disc. He's up to some very mischievous, shady stuff here, so I'm definitely thinking that he's going to be the villain. And at the end of the episode, Naomi decides that she's finally going to believe Dee and ask for his help in training. Meanwhile, her father, though, has actually been assigned in his new position to hunt down and find these aliens in this town. And they say, if there are aliens here, we're going to find them and we're going to take care of them. And of course, his daughter, or at least adopted daughter, is one of them. And after this, the episode actually ends with kind of basically the beginning of Naomi's training, kind of doing some repetition parallelism from the beginning of the episode, where of course the beginning, Dee was first trying to explain to her that she has powers, and was like, alright, if we jump off this bridge, you won't get hurt or anything because you'll be able to fly and all this stuff. So at the end of the episode, she does actually jump off the bridge now that she knows she's an alien, and we don't actually get to see her fly as we saw Dee do at the beginning of the episode, but we do see we don't hear a splash, and Dee says no splash. So clearly she has powers. She can fly. We got a couple of other powers in action here in this episode, like her super eyesight and stuff like that. But other than that, not too much going on here. Again, there's I feel like a lot of the stuff going on in this episode is a lot of investigating. So there's not really that much to talk about, not really that much being set up here with the storyline yet. But again, I'm still enjoying it, even though there's not that much to talk about here. I think it's an interesting series, and I'm excited to see where things go from here. But guys, let me know your thoughts on this in the comments below. What did you think about Naomi episode 2 in the Arrowverse on the CW? I think it's off to a pretty solid start, and I'm interested to see where things go from here. But for now, guys, of course, you can always go ahead and check out my episode 2 review and breakdown of Superman and Lois season 2 as well. But for now, guys, thanks so much for watching. Please drop a like if you enjoyed this video, and hit the subscribe button so I can keep you up to date on everything that goes on